business whenever I walk in the room. I be eating, it ain't never off no silver spoon. Blowing up now.
Let's just get right into it then. Santa sucks.
Well, yeah, unless you're a kid, then Santa's the shit.
I hear all these people going around social media talking about, don't teach your kids that Santa exists. They need to know where this comes from. And part of me agrees, but part of me doesn't. Like, they're kids. You can't spoil their fantasies just because you got some weird vendetta from the past that you want to correct.
Yeah, just because your mom never fucking bought you a gift, don't blame it and put it on Santa, dog.
Just because Santa never came to your house doesn't really mean...
Just because Santa didn't climb down your chimney that you didn't have.
I mean, Santa shows favoritism. Let's be honest, and it's just one of the ways of the world. It's gonna happen.
There's parts of the world Santa 100% doesn't show up to.
Absolutely, and it's usually the people with very little money. So how's that fair? You know what? I changed my mind. I want to teach my kids that Santa doesn't exist.
Only rich people have Santa.
Exactly.
So,
right.
And then that's real.
Yeah.
Well, unless foundations, I don't know, maybe they help with Santa stuff.
Yeah, but you gotta know about the foundations, and they have to be available in your area. And usually those foundations are built and operated by people who Santa frequently visits.
What do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
I want Santa to bring my kids stuff, so I don't have to pay for it. That would be my Christmas gift. Is I don't have to pay for the gifts.
I think.
But unfortunately, I know that Santa doesn't exist, and that's not going to happen.
Do you know?
But sometimes...
Where did Santa come from?
People?
No, but like, where does Santa originate from? Do you know?
The north side?
Not here in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, our north side is a little...
I can't remember the whole story, but it's definitely deep. It's like way back when.
Let's get into it, Well, if you don't know it, prepare it for next week.
Next week we'll get into
because I'm interested in that.
The Christmas episode. This is
it'll be Christmas week.
Yeah.
Anyways, we here now. Brofessors, episode 1. Appreciate y'all letting us get our little intro off.
Yeah.
Trizzy Triz, J-Riz. Brofessors, episode 1, we finally here.
Yes. Sponsored by Inspect 360.
Mm-hmm. Inspect 360 is a...
inspection company.
Home inspections.
Or commercial. I've done a couple commercials. Mm-hmm. So those are fun. I don't do them all. I do light commercial. I don't do no heavy commercial shit. You got to have quite a few hands for that.
And that's anywhere in Oklahoma.
Anywhere in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So hit my guy up, man. Inspect 360.
Absolutely.
This is your inaugural year, rookie year of home inspections your own.
It is.
And we need y'all to go ahead and...
It's been fun.
Use Inspect 360 if you're in Oklahoma and you need home inspections.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Absolutely. Also still a realtor. If you want to buy or sell your home, I can definitely help you out with that.
Listen, if you got anything around the house you need done.
What do you need?
He'll pull up on you
I
and do
will
it.
find it for you. Maybe for a small fee, maybe for free.
Right.
Just depends how close we are.
That was kind of a bar.
It was.
Maybe a small fee.
I stay with bars.
Maybe for free.
Yeah.
Stay with bars because we stars. J-Riz, also known as Jason, Promotion Media Group is the other sponsor of this podcast. Promotion Media Group is a multimedia company based out of Lawton, Oklahoma. I can do some things in Southwest Oklahoma for you in the form of videography or photography or any type of digital marketing anywhere you are.
Dope.
That's my elevator pitch.
Fucking dope.
You like that? Yeah. Been doing it for a while. We're here now.
That's why we're here right now.
That's why we're doing this.
Because of promotion. No, it's promotion.
It's promotion. It's promotion, like professional motion.
Promotion.
Yeah. PMG.
Maybe should you do a dash on the pro?
No, but I capitalized the M. Promotion.
On your shirt, everything's capitalized.
That's because I do things big. Hey! Pause.
Regardless. Hey, like I said, it's 2023. You don't have to pause anymore.
But it's funny. It's one of my comedic crutches.
All right. I'll accept it.
All right, cool.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, we're here for the inaugural episode.
Of Brofessors, F1, the pilot.
We've done this this is our third go at the pilot.
Yes, but we've ran into some mistakes.
We finally got it right.
Things.
Yeah.
Might have got super throwed the second time we tried to do this.
Went for about 2.5 hours.
Spoke on some shit we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, we wanted to go ahead and run that back.
Definitely.
People ask me to help them with their podcasts all the time. And I'm like, well, I don't really even know what I'm doing yet, for one. Like, I know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I'm not to the point where I'm ready to even launch mine yet.
Right.
That's one. Two, they always want to know about how to, like, should they go live on their show? And first, no. For a couple reasons. The first one is until you get a following of people who are going to watch it live, there's literally no reason to go live.
That part, and then if you're just starting out, like we did, if we had went live straight off the jump, I don't know if it would have been great.
It wouldn't have, and that's my second reason. When you're live, if you're live and you're not used to being live, it could go really, really, really poorly for you.
Yeah,
in a lot of different ways. Like,
the very first time we did this, hearing myself on the thing like threw me off for 5 to 10 minutes. I was like, "This is so weird hearing myself," and it's still weird, but I'm used to it now.
Right.
So, yeah, that's where we are.
But I mean, also, you never know. Like, when we were throwed for 2.5 hours talking about stuff that we didn't,
Crazy
that
shit.
you can't take back.
Yeah.
Going live is just not a good look.
Not at all.
Not unless you're a professional.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're these people that go live on TV,
And
they've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah, we're not professionals. We are professionals.
Which is a nice segue into the intro.
Absolutely.
15 minutes in. Here's our intro. This podcast is not by any means to be taken as though we're subject matter experts in anything.
Right.
The way that I like to talk about it is we're a couple of guys who know a little bit about a lot.
There you go. I like that.
We don't know a lot about much.
Yeah.
But we know a little bit about
a lot.
Yeah. And we just want to have conversations.
And we can definitely point you in the right direction if you want to learn some shit, but we won't be the ones teaching you.
Right. Because we want to learn too. That's why we're here. We want to learn from each other. We want to learn from any potential guests we may have in the future.
Yes.
And really just have conversations with each other and have fun.
Have fun.
I got 5 kids in the house, man. I got to get some R&R sometimes.
Yeah, I got some dogs.
Yeah, that's
and a wife.
Very.
That's working right now.
You need some too.
Yeah. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
You need
People
some,
keep asking me like, when are you gonna have babies? And I'm like, whenever they fucking get here.
Oh no, I meant you need some R&R.
Oh. I thought you was talking about babies. You need some babies.
I'm not gonna.
All right, they coming.
I'm not gonna pressure you into that. Only when you're ready. But
it's like, trust me, bro. Take your time.
Take your time.
Take your time. You got 5 kids and a dog in the house. Okay.
Yeah, and they're all girls except for Jordan, who is
Jordy
naturally highly emotional and sensitive because of all the women around him.
I think so. You think so?
Mm-hmm. And he gets lonely. He's the only dude. And me.
He likes company, though.
He does. He's a trip.
We have a blast.
Yeah, he's
Every
a trip.
time I come through, he's like, we got a handshake and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's
a
like,
trip.
you didn't do it right. I'm like, damn, how do you remember that?
He remembers everything he doesn't need to.
Yeah, it's
And
like, you shouldn't remember that part of the
And
handshake.
nothing he's supposed to.
That's a grown-up thing we did.
What is that, like a twerk or something?
No, it's this.
Probably
So here
is.
we go.
Oh, yeah.
Ballin'.
He does that to me every time. And I'm like,
I taught him that.
I was wondering because I'm doing like a handshake with him and he hits the and I'm like, did we make this up before? Because he's doing it like I'm supposed to know it.
No, he's like, bro, no, it came from me. Unfortunately, I apologize. And
No, I
you
think
know
it's-
where I got that
I
from?
think it's wonderful.
Was it was like we used to play beer pong all the time, and like when we made shots, that was me and my partner's thing. We'd straight up hit the ball, like just so teenager of us, so college of us,
And here we are now.
just teaching it to
Still
kids.
doing it.
Yeah, hey, got to pass on the torch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
I
know?
have no problem
He's going to
with
be
that. I think
playing
it's
beer
hilarious.
pong in the next 10 years.
He's, yeah. 5.
How old is he?
5 or 6 years.
How old is he?
He's 7. 10 years is more realistic.
Yeah, unless you're me. I was doing stupid shit at 13.
I think I smoked my first joint in like 9th grade. But aside from that, I didn't drink until
What
I was
happened?
like 17.
What happened on your first joint? That's what I want to
I
know.
faked it.
You faked it?
I was terrified.
So you didn't inhale?
No.
You Bill Clinton that, huh?
Yes.
But Bill Clinton hit it.
Yeah, definitely. I did not.
I did not inhale.
Did not inhale that marijuana.
So you faked it and weren't high. Did you pretend high?
I think so, if I remember right.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure. But I mean, I was terrified of it. I had no idea what was going on.
Mine was around, I was probably 15. I definitely didn't have my license. We rode our bikes to get $5 worth of weed. The guy we met, he got it. We like pulled up, we got it. We hopped in his car, which is weird. But we were like, can you roll us a joint? You know, so he put all $5 worth of fucking ragweed in the joint.
All $5
And we were like,
worth.
all right, let's fucking do this, you know? And we rode all the way back home, which we literally rode our bikes from the north side of Lawton to Country Mart on the west to get this fucking weed.
Good.
And we're 15 at the time or something. My mom
That's a solid
definitely does not
45-minute bike
so-
ride.
Huh?
Just a solid 45-minute bike ride.
Easily.
Yeah, if not more. For people who don't know.
But that's like what we did as kids.
Right.
We rode our bikes everywhere. I didn't even know what the west side looked like until I rode my bike over
Really?
there. Yeah. Never had really drove over there, obviously, or rode with my mom over there. My uncle lived over there. But anyways, we get back with the joint. We wait till our friend's mom goes to sleep. Our friend that we were staying with was not partaking. He was like, y'all are dumb. You shouldn't do that. You know, we're like, shut the hell up. We're going to do this.
my last 5.
We're
going to do this.
So we go outside and we're smoking this thing. We think his mother's asleep. I don't know if she smells it or what, but we're about halfway, 3/4 away from finishing this thing off, already feeling weird. And she opens the door, boom. And she's Thai. She's like, does not, you know. She's like, what the hell you do? I was like, threw it under my foot, stomped it out. We're like, oh shit. Obviously that like paranoid is slide it under a bucket, run back into the room, and we set up some strobe lights. And we immediately just started getting fucking weird. Strobe light, and I was like, my legs are moving so slow. Oh my God, this is crazy. And ever since then, man, I smoked weed.
Man,
Which I've recently quit. I used to be an everyday smoker. I am not an everyday smoker right now.
What's the reason for that?
Man, just mental clarity.
Yeah.
It definitely promotes some laziness, you know, and not say I could fully function on marijuana and do my job. But just clarity. I'm better at conversation, obviously, when I'm not stoned. But, you know, I'll still take a rip here and there if I'm about to go to a dinner or
Yeah.
we're hanging out watching a movie maybe or something like that. Like, but definitely like more like once here and there, not smoking a whole blunt ski.
Yeah, I never really was a consistent smoker. I think I could probably count on 26, 27 fingers how many times I've smoked in my lifetime.
Well, good luck on getting
Right.
all those fingers in front of you.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I never really was my
I
thing.
smoked 26, 27 in like a week.
Right, yeah. I
At one point in my life.
I don't really think I liked for me it was the loss of control, which is crazy because I drank a lot. And you obviously don't have control when you're drunk and blacked out and things like that. But I don't really know what it was. I feel like I wanted to be done being high before I was done being high. Like I was
just anxious.
For me, it was cool for a while, and then I wanted it to stop, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't stop. So
I also think it has a lot to do with your environment, where you're at, your setting. Kind of like mushrooms, very similar. You definitely don't want to be in this weird crowd or like in an anxious environment or around people you don't either know or like per se. When you get stoned or you're on mushrooms, like it's just not. You don't want to do that. I think. Where was I going? What were you talking about?
you said your environment really plays a part in
Well,
how it affects you.
definitely. And because when you're a consistent smoker, I notice myself being more anxious than relieving anxiety. And so I had to really take a step back, like, okay, why am I, I smoke all the time. Why am I getting anxious, having anxious thoughts, blah, blah, blah. But science says that if you do consistently smoke, that you are more prone to having anxiety behavior or anxious thoughts. But since I've stepped back and just kind of enjoy it whenever it's just around, I'm not smoking every day. For one, I do enjoy it a lot more, and I don't have as many anxious thoughts. But for someone like you who doesn't or hasn't really had all the experiences of weed, I feel like you could have those anxious moments, especially if you smoke too much.
Right.
Like, you have to draw the line somewhere if you don't smoke often. Like, let me take 1, 2, 3 hits, not smoke a whole joint or hit a dab pen.
Which we have a story about that.
You don't want to just go right in, like, I have a dab story. I could tell you one, the first time I hit one, and I was already lit, like, when I hit it, and I sat down for 2.5 hours and just looked at the moon.
Man.
Like, I cannot move.
Not me.
Yeah.
You remember my dab story?
I do.
Because
I do.
You were an active participant in how I got there.
Sorry about that. I apologize every time.
It's not your fault. So
no, it is.
So the
I was
story,
like, come on, hit it.
So the story, yeah, you did do that. The story is, it was Easter Sunday. Do you remember that it was Easter?
Oh my God, it was Easter. I lived right down the street, and I don't really celebrate Easter. I mean,
well, I went to church, so I was still in my Easter suit. I don't know if you remember.
I remember that.
I don't know if you remember these details.
I do. I remember the suit.
Yeah.
But you had been there for a cool minute.
Man, I came to this local bar and grill called Back Porch Draft House on the west side of Lawton.
Shout out
to y'all. Full Easter get up. I met some people for lunch after Easter services and things like that. Well, they do their, like normal people do, and they eat food and they leave. Well, I didn't have anything to do that day. Didn't have my kids that day. I was by myself. I was single at the time, and sat there, and I had recently discovered, what's it called? Angry Balls. Which are angry orchards with fireball shots in them.
Yeah.
And they taste amazing, and they're just like, it basically tastes like Fireball. But
probably be a little too sweet for me, but yeah, proceed.
it was good. Very good. Next thing I knew...
Do it as a shot, maybe.
Next thing I knew, they were about to close, and I had 9 of them.
Oh my God.
And it was, sitting there watching whatever was on TV at the time, just kind of not talking to anyone. I was kind of by myself, and I was just hanging out, just chilling. Like, I was pouring to do around that time of my life. And in walk Tristan and a friend of his, and they sit down next to me at the bar at this place. And in my inhibited self, if that's a word.
It wasn't immediately, though.
It wasn't immediately. We sat there for a while.
Down the line.
Yeah, and I probably even had a couple more of those angry balls while y'all sat there, telling you how much I loved them, probably. And you just whipped out this pin, and I don't even think you had hit it because we were inside. I don't know. You may have.
No, I definitely hit it.
And I said, "Can I hit that? Can I hit that pin?" And in a joking manner, you said, "Yeah, man." And I said, "Well, how does it work?" And you said, "Man, just tug on it for like 3. Just count to 3." And I was like, "Okay." Meanwhile, I'm blacked out off these angry balls already. So I'm like, and you saw that I was actually doing it and go, no, I was kidding. And I said, too late now. Man, they closed pretty immediately after that. So we had to get up and walk out. And I remember we actually even helped them out putting the chairs on the tables.
Yeah, we did. We put the chairs up.
And on my way out to the door, I just remember just coming over me. Like, I don't even know how I'm walking right now. Don't know how I got home. This is not to promote driving under the influence by any means, but
yes,
I was definitely not in my right mind. And I remember coming home and just laying down on the bed fully clothed. Shoes, blazer, everything. I'm still in my Easter clothes, keep in mind. And it took me a minute to fall asleep because I knew that I was going to be sick. I was going to puke at some point. So my body wouldn't let me fall asleep because of it. But I also knew that there's no way I was getting off this bed. I knew that the only thing I didn't want to happen was throwing up in the bed.
Right.
So I made a decision.
I've never done that.
I made an executive decision. I'm just going to roll over, stick my head off the side of the bed. Whatever happens, happens, and I'll clean it up tomorrow.
Oh, no.
And that's what I did. That's what I did. I puked it all up and I passed out. And I woke up fully clothed, wingtip shoes, blazer, glasses, everything.
Shoes still on?
Shoes still on. Full Easter get up. Like I could have woken up, brushed my teeth, and went to church.
Yeah, Easter Sunday went to Easter Monday. Yeah. And Jesus had already been back and risen for a whole 24 hours.
Everybody already knew the news.
And he's disappointed in you.
Right. Absolutely.
That's how you celebrate me?
At least I went to church that morning.
I didn't.
If that means anything. I don't know if that counts.
Was that a shot? Was that a shot?
No, that was me trying to make it right with, you got to take the crooked with the straight.
I hear you. That's, I apologize, man, but you definitely,
literally every time I tell this story, he apologizes to me.
It's like, damn it, you shouldn't have did that.
I shouldn't have taken that big a hit sober. Much less.
You'd have probably been Gucci sober. Because getting crossfaded and having both alcohol and the marijuana system is that's a different animal.
Yeah.
And you gotta have some angry balls to approach that.
Wonderful. And we'll be right back. That was good.
Damn it.
So I'm in the same boat now too, though, where maybe it's just getting older, getting more mature thing. Maybe it's, kind of just reeling from some PTSD of past experiences, but I'm more on the side of mental clarity as my focus now. Like I've been through parts of my life where I was drinking pretty heavily every night, and I still enjoy the occasional drink. I'll have a few sips of wine at night or whatever, but the overall mental fogginess that comes with consistently drinking, not even when you're drunk, and
could be the next day or 2 days later.
It could be, not even feeling the effects of hangover anymore necessarily, but if you're consistently drinking, or for me, this was the experience. I was on edge a lot more. I was always anxious. I was kind of a jerk to people and don't even remember conversations. Mm-hmm. And these weren't even conversations that happened while I was drunk. But it was like after I took a break for about 60 days and I just felt better, and the mental clarity was there for me, having not consistently been drunk for a while. Just like, man, this feels great. Like I can talk to people normally. I can think normally. I can get a lot more done. And in general, I think that maybe we're at a point in our lives now where productivity is the objective. It is. Especially being business owners.
Yes.
And you got to have a sharp mind about you. And
everything, yeah. Can't just walk into a home inspection with a little buzz, Right. It's like, no.
Or even a hangover.
Yeah. Hangovers are terrible, and the older I get, the harder it is.
Right.
If I go, there's still nights where we'll go to a friend's birthday or something like that, or a Christmas party or whatever, and you drink a little more than normal, and fuck, the next day you're just like, dude, I cannot move. Right.
Well, even then, for me, the PTSD from the hangovers is the sole motivation of why I limit myself now. Like, because I don't want to feel like that tomorrow. That's kind of what goes on in my mind. Like, I mean, I got to stop because I remember what it was like last time, and I ain't trying to do that again.
Let me get a water.
You got to mix some waters in there.
Let me get a water or two. I'm cool. Like, I'll have a few beers and chill. Maybe catch a slight, a slight buzz, and it does. It just you open up a little more. You have better conversations,
right?
When you just have a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing generally wrong, I think, with.
And that's my opinion. Obviously, people would argue that, but
that you don't have to be drunk to have fun. I agree with that, but I'm like that too. Like, I need a little bit of the edge off.
Yeah,
because I'm a socially anxious person in the way that I get awkward.
Yeah, until I have that drink or two, I probably am not going to talk to you.
No.
But that's
I'll talk to you, but I probably
if I don't know you.
Right, exactly.
Like me and you could talk,
right?
Obviously, easily.
Yeah, that's true. I needed to open up to people that I'm not real comfortable with yet, but I think it's a good conversation. We tell these stories, and to kind of look at where we are now as the Brofessors. Everything's got to have some type of life lesson, I guess, embedded in it. And I think for me, it's that, kind of that arc of progress from being, for what I personally relate to as kind of not a burnout necessarily, but not a productive person, to, just growing and maturing into somebody who can move out of things and into new things and, just grow.
Yeah. And growing that's a big word. It took me a long time to kind of hit that growing stage. It took me, honestly, to find a woman and get married and all these things and want different things in life to really be like, man, I need to not do this all the time.
Right.
And really need to get my shit together, blah, blah, blah. Do I have my shit together? Sometimes, but everybody's life has different weights. So
Right.
Everybody's in a different story. Everybody has their own story. Some people are still bad off. Some people are 50, 60, 70 still bad off.
Right.
Some people don't make it that far. Some people never learn their lesson.
Yeah.
So
Still behaving like
I went
18-year-olds,
60 days without drinking, and it was kind of a game changer for me. I was like, okay. For a while, it's like, I don't know if I could, it's like you get so used to going out on the weekend or having a meal, and then with that meal or after your meal having a beer or a drink or whatever, and you're just like, it's a custom, it's like, okay. But prying myself out of that, because for the longest time it was every weekend, sometimes 2 nights, 3 nights, just depends on how many times did we go out, how many things did we have to do. But pulling back and having that 60 days no alcohol really made me realize that I have that power to over my mind to say, nah, I'm good. I don't have to have that drink today, or I don't have to have that drink tonight. And it became kind of easy.
Yeah.
But I noticed my brain starting to want to do other things. And that was more functionable things, whether it's work harder, clean more, clean this, figure this out, straighten this up, organize this. My brain was trying to do other things, right? Instead of focusing on when's the next drink coming or whatever. And it solid change. Yeah. And it was a game changer for me.
That's cool. That's definitely relatable to me too, because, as someone who struggles with ADHD, which I wasn't diagnosed with until I was like 30, which I think everybody that knows me probably already knew that I had. But as somebody who struggles with that, the side effects of that are disorganization, procrastination, kind of a lack of cleanliness. You can tend to be kind of messy, but you're always you're impulsive, and you're kind of always chasing that dopamine high of social interaction. For me, is what it was.
Yep.
So it's relatable to me that you're talking about how your mind shifts to other things. I think you're still chasing that dopamine high in a certain way.
Right.
So for me, it wasn't, it's like, man, I really, the side effects of alcohol are getting too much for me. So I'm going to chill on that because that's too much.
Yeah.
But I got to do something else. And so that turns into doing stuff like this. We've been talking about a podcast for 3 years, and now we're finally able to do it. I think it's partially because our mind is able to kind of focus on something else. But it's, I've been focused a lot more on deep cleaning the house and trying to be organized, and even meal prepping and getting into the routine of going to a gym and things like that. And I think it's just because of the ADHD partially, but also because of kind of how we're built, where we're not the type of people that can just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
And we have to do something gratifying.
Yeah.
And we're however big or small that task may be, we're searching for something gratifying. And so maybe it's, man, I need to get a control over the messiness of this house or the disorganization of this room, or I need to do something that's gratifying to give me that dopamine high, and that can replace what alcohol was giving us before, or whatever it is. And that's interesting that you brought that up, because it's so personally relatable to where I am right now, and it's wild. It kind of proves that it's not the substance itself. It's the mental attachment to the gratification. For me, it was always social interaction.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always just having that social moment. And then in that social moment, you're so used to just grabbing a beer or an alcoholic drink. You're just like, this is normal, right?
Right.
You know, this is what I do, socialize, you have drinks. And still today, everything you go to, alcohol is involved. And trust me, I don't mind that. I will still have a drink. You might see me have a drink on this podcast, but it's not, you know, it's not an everyday thing. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing. And I think more people should maybe realize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely see me with a beer in front of me at some point in time.
Yeah,
You know, it's not.
I think moreover, it's not, for us, it has never been a chemical dependency. You know, it's just it's some type of dopamine link to that social piece. So,
I agree, 100%.
Ayo.
Ayo,
What, when you did this? Oh.
damn, that sounds like a real sound effect.
What were we talking about?
Hey, so let's look at this. Let's look at this playoff picture.
Okay. Raiders,
got-
first of all, Raiders with the big W
Yo,
tonight.
y'all are playing. Y'all literally got 2 people fired, which is fire.
It should have been fired at halftime.
Should have been fired 5 games ago.
Should have been fired last year.
Yeah. Justin Herbert faked an injury just to get off. He's like, nah, I ain't even playing no more.
The whole team did.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen don't want to play no more either.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this
Which
noise.
sucks because he's the one that got me into my fantasy playoffs pretty much single-handedly.
I'm so nervous about my playoff matchup in my one league that I made the playoffs.
Let me tell you how I'm faring so far in the first round of the playoffs, though, without Keenan Allen. I went and picked up the Las Vegas Raiders defense stat, and he had the Chargers defense. So I'm Gucci now.
You straight. You are straight. How many points did you get? 25?
25? Exactly.
That was a guess.
And he lost 5.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Now you down 30
Now let's get it.
in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Boo to you. Why are you starting the Chargers defense?
Who knows?
Like, there's got to be something out there.
Right.
Who are you playing? Don't say a name. Is it the league I know?
No, it's the it's my work league that I went 11-0 before I lost. And then I lost 2 in a row.
Your work is so
They
trash.
suck.
If you go 11-0 in fantasy football,
Your
like,
league sucks.
your league is just
They're probably going to see this too. And you know, because I've told you all to your faces, y'all should have never let that happen.
suck.
Trash.
You suck.
You know, this.
Just kidding.
We'll get to. I'm sorry to continue to postpone your subject, but one more thing, real quick, about that league. They were colluding hard against me. Like we had players who have been out of the playoffs for 6 weeks, and they wanted so badly for me to lose that they were colluding with each other, like trading away their best players to the team that's playing against me just for the week, and then giving them back to try to get me to lose. And it wasn't working.
What in the fuck?
Right. And I kept telling them, like, you know, the regular season doesn't matter. All I got to be is top 4.
Was it an 18 play? Is it an 18?
It's 14, but they only took the top 4.
Sheesh, that's rough.
Rough. And it's ESPN, so like in the playoff, the way they have it formatted.
Is there money involved?
Yeah, it was like a 25 buy-in.
Oh, that's not
like that.
bad.
But it's like
With
$350. It's $350
Yeah,
pot.
say with 14 people, that's fucking great.
But you have people that weren't even going to make it, just colluding because they wanted me to lose. Like they were straight up telling me, we just want you to lose one. And I said, you know, it doesn't matter, right? I'm already clinched.
Yeah, I clinched 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
I'm 11-0, bro.
Right. And this is interesting. I've never done an ESPN league that works like this, but I play the same in the first round. I don't know if this works in the championship round, but I play the same team 2 weeks in a row for the point total. So technically I could lose the first week. And then if I win by enough points the second week for the overall total to be in my favor, I could still win the round.
2 of my leagues, absolute just dog shit, trash. And virtually I have a lot of the same players in the league that I'm like, I think I'm 10-4 in. Does that sound right? But I was losing pretty bad this last week, and D-Hop came in clutch.
I don't know how the Titans
And
won the
Raheem
game.
Mostert. Like, I was down by almost 40 points, and them cats literally won the game for me.
I don't know how Tennessee won that game. They were down 14 with 2:59 on the clock.
Who did they beat?
They beat
Miami.
Miami, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nuts.
they so you had the top performers
How
on
different?
each team.
How different is that team without Tyreek playing?
So different.
Yeah.
And that was the point that the Fantasy Footballers podcast, shout out to them, that I listened to pretty religiously. They made a point about his MVP run.
Yeah,
Because they are literally useless without him on the field.
he just spreads the field. You have to keep two guys on that,
Right.
and he'll still catch it. He'll still burn you.
I mean, Dak is
And a lot, you could say the same thing about, even though our games were a lot closer, Brock Purdy struggled without a Trent Williams and without a Deebo Samuel. Lost all 3 games without them.
if I was gonna say, if I remember right, winless without Debo, undefeated with him.
Yes. And that doesn't mean he might have 2 receptions, but the fact that he's there,
Gotta account for him.
you got to account for him, and that's a huge difference. We need somebody in that role if Deebo gets hurt to
Yeah.
make teams accountable.
And I mean, you can put anybody in that role, but they're not gonna be Debo.
Yeah. And, one game was a loss by a missed field goal by the rookie kicker that literally his first kick he missed all year was a game-winning field goal. Fucked it up. Lost another by 5. And then Bengals were the only game that really got away from them. And Brock had, I think, 2 interceptions that game.
Right.
But we've been trucking since then. Came off a bye and just been absolutely whooping ass.
Yeah.
Cowboys been absolutely
Cowboys been crushing.
on a terror.
Yeah.
Eagles,
I hope that
I don't know what's
I
going on with them.
hope the seeding works out to where the Cowboys Niners game is the
NFC Championship.
NFC Championship game.
I think that would be. I'm not going to count the Eagles out. Those cats can win games.
They're a good team.
Their defense is struggling. Let's look at this. Let's look at the AFC first
Yeah,
because
their
it's a
defense
little,
is bad.
the AFC is so just thin tight. You're talking about, okay, if the playoffs started today, Baltimore gets the first round bye,
Right.
10-3. Who the Niners play on Christmas night, by the way. Potential
be
Super
great.
Bowl matchup. That's a great one. You got Miami versus the Colts. Miami is 9-4, Colts 7-6. KC versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is so, I don't even know how the fuck.
They're such a coin flip.
They're you don't know what team you're gonna get. And now what they're working with Trubisky. I think Pickett's done right for the year.
Yep.
So you got KC versus Pitt, and then Jacksonville versus Cleveland, and all solid matchups. But
Yeah, that's a solid round.
your AFC standings, 3 through 5 are 8-5. 6, check this out, 6 through 11, all the way down to Buffalo being number 11, which is nuts.
Wild.
7-6.
Dang.
So you're talking about the next 3 weeks being just major, or was it 4 weeks left?
Yes, including this week.
This week including is 4 weeks. But so the next 4 games are just huge for all these teams in the AFC versus NFC.
All I'm hearing about the AFC picture is it sounds like the Chiefs' throne is being grabbed,
Oh yeah.
and if the Raiders win out, they got a chance to make the playoffs.
I think the Raiders are on a whim going to make a little run.
I think they are too.
Their defense, the cat Max Crosby is a beast. That dude Kuntz, is it Kuntz? I think
Diablo and Kuntz, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
First of all, a name like Diablo is like I don't want any parts of that dude.
No, not even. I would be nervous to have a conversation with you.
It would be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders' run goes. But to your NFC picture,
So the NFC is Niners right now, first round bye, who are tied record wise 10-3 with the Cowboys and Philly. The Niners have manhandled both of those teams in the regular season so far.
and have a pretty decently easy schedule, if I remember right. Besides Baltimore
The Niners,
to close out, yeah.
we have the Cardinals, Ravens. Is it Detroit?
Oh, it's a pretty tough
No,
one.
Cardinals, Ravens, Commanders, Rams. So
Pretty. I mean, you
not
might.
tough. Rams are going to be tougher than expect. Rams just beat Baltimore.
Stafford's on it.
Yeah, the Rams just beat Baltimore.
You're going to beat Arizona by 30.
I hope so, but I just I don't know. I don't ever speak like that because the NFL is weird. Arizona beat Cowboys, which that was
That's
early
true.
in the season. The first 3 or 4
With no
weeks,
Kyler.
Kyler's it's a different team with Kyler.
Right.
And I think that's what we'll see. I think it's going to be a closer game. They have us by like 12.5 or something.
It's pretty big.
In the NFL, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So they have us first round bye right now. If things were to end today, obviously
because San Francisco beat Dallas.
Yes.
And Philly, right?
And Philly. In Philly. So they got, if things ended right now, Dallas versus Green Bay. Green Bay is 6-7 in the playoffs.
They're a question mark too. Like they show flashes of being really good.
And really bad.
And really bad.
They need to fix their running game and a little bit on the defense.
Yeah, they have a rookie quarterback though.
Detroit versus Minnesota. Detroit's 9-4. Minnesota's 7-6.
That might be an interesting matchup because while Minnesota is running on fumes right now, they seem to be in the games.
Yeah. And I guarantee some of these matchups change, obviously, in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to get interesting. Some of these wild card teams are going to pop in there. I hate playing the Rams. I just don't like it. I think McShay and Shanahan have such like back and forth that it's any given time.
Dude, divisional games are always a coin flip. It doesn't matter who's...
I didn't think we would beat the Seahawks twice. I thought for some reason these cats were going to come out and just play. And they played. The second game was better than the first one. But, we got the dub.
Right. Divisional games are always like that. I mean, the Raiders beat the Chiefs, it seems like once every year.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are never in the running for anything.
No.
But when they play the Chiefs, usually in Arrowhead, it's a game.
I think Antonio Pierce taking over.
That dude is... There's something about the atmosphere. Yeah.
It's exactly right. It's the locker room. It's more... That's what I love about the Niners. I'm not... I've been a Niner fan my whole life. The locker room has never been this good.
Right.
The charisma, the attitude of people. People take pay cuts.
They're just having fun.
They're having fun.
Seems like they're just enjoying playing football.
They are, but they are mean with it. When they get on that field, it's a different animal.
This dude McCaffrey took the first handoff last
72 yards. Yeah. I flipped on the game from red zone and it was boom. And I was like, oh shit. And then they let Jordan Mason get the run and next play he scored, which he's a beast too.
Yeah.
Like I'm confident and for some reason he's not McCaffrey. I can't say he's McCaffrey, but that kid is good.
There's some depth on San Francisco's roster. It's crazy. And we talked a little bit before about Purdy being a system quarterback, which I think is dumb. I mean, everybody's in a system.
Every quarterback is a game manager, quote unquote.
Did you see Cam Newton? Sidebar.
Yeah, I did.
Come on.
I mean,
of all the people to say, like, I know Cam Newton had an MVP season, don't get me wrong.
I partially agree with some of the things he's saying.
But he's talking about the wrong guys.
Yeah. And he's wrong and right at the same time. He has the ability to know these things. He was a great high school 5-star recruit. He was
great college player.
A Heisman winner. He was an MVP and went to the Super Bowl. But, I mean, obviously he didn't win the Super Bowl.
I love Cam Newton for the record.
Me too.
I think he's a little off his rocker, but...
I don't know. He kept using the analogy that I think it was Chris Canty used and was like... a game manager is the trailer. The game changer is the truck. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? But I get what he's saying. Like you have a team, a player, a quarterback or something that can put the team on the back and go win a game still, right?
Right.
He's saying Dak can't do that. He's saying Brock can't do that. Personally, I kind of agree with the Tua thing because without Tyreek, Tua has 100% struggled.
Regular.
Yeah, he's been pretty regular.
Which is...
But you can't fault a quarterback for being on a good team.
Right.
That kills me when people say that. Like, oh, well, Brock got Debo and Ayuk. And, well, he still got to throw the damn ball.
My thing is, absolutely. And,
Dak, too.
I'm a very statistical, analytical person when it comes to sports arguments. That's why I love fantasy so much because it's a statistical game. It's all about matchups. It's all about numbers. It's all about stats. And... obviously, that I don't believe the MVP argument should be 100% statistical, but it plays a part, because the numbers don't lie. Everybody knows that. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. The numbers, the data is the data, right? Yep. And how long have you been watching football? Watching the Niners specifically, 30 plus years.
Easily, yeah.
How many times, granted it hasn't been this roster, but how many times has a quarterback been as efficient and high performing as Brock Purdy on the San Francisco 49ers?
Nobody since Steve Young.
And
I wasn't old enough to watch.
Can you take Brock Purdy out of that team and put anybody else there and get the same output?
I don't think so.
No, because let's take the Cowboys. Let's shift to the Cowboys, for example. The Cowboys have generally had the same core team for a few years now, and haven't been like this. No. Haven't won games like this. Haven't had Dak perform like this. He was on his way to being MVP before he broke his ankle a few years ago.
And I think last year the ankle was a thing.
But can you
still?
Sure, it will be for sure. Just like Kyler right now is coming off his ACL, he's still dealing with it, even if it's just mental. There's those types of injury play a part. But to me, the MVP argument is very simple. First, it's statistical, but also I think at the core of the argument is, can I take this player off this team and put anybody else there and get the same performance? And if not, A, he's not just a game manager. And B, he should be in the MVP conversation because Tyreek is out and the Dolphins cannot do anything.
Yep.
Last week, Tyreek was playing. They were bombing away. He gets hurt. He leaves the game. They couldn't get a first down.
Nothing.
He comes back into the game for a little bit. They're bombing away. He leaves again. They can't get a first down. They end up losing the game.
Yep.
There's very little you can say to me about that eyeball test too. So while I'm statistical, it's watching the games. One of the most frustrating parts about having sports conversations is with people who don't actually watch the games.
Yeah.
The stats matter, and I stand on that, but there is an intangible aspect of how this person changes the game that has to be considered.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about game managers versus game changers or difference makers, as he calls them, the eyeball test matters.
Yeah.
And you can't take Tyreek off that team and put anybody else in his position and get the same performance. Same is true for Brock Purdy. Same is true for Jalen Hurts. Same is true for Dak Prescott.
Yep.
They are in the positions they're in because they're taking what they are given and utilizing it.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy is not a system quarterback.
No, because Jimmy basically had the same exact team minus
That's
Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
And could not do the same thing. Could not make even close to the same throws.
Right.
The dude did not throw deep.
And that's one of Brock Purdy's his main attributes is his accuracy. And that's what I mean by the eyeball test. Yeah, you got numbers like completion percentage that matter. Because it does matter.
Absolutely.
But watching the accuracy of the throws is important too. And he's making throws that a lot of people can't make.
Dude, he like puts things in the breadbasket.
Right. You know who's the definition of a game manager, and you can personally relate to this because he was on your team at one time. Alex Smith was a game manager. Alex Smith was starting games to not lose them.
Yeah.
But he wasn't making throws and making plays and getting first downs with his legs and finding the right read.
Yeah. To think we drafted Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers wanted to be a 49er is so fucking crazy to me. Imagine
how many rings San Francisco would have.
I think Aaron Rodgers would definitely have more than his one.
Yep. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, my opinion. He doesn't light up the ring sheet, but
I don't know about that. But I don't know about great.
Skill-wise.
Dude can spin the fucking ball, no doubt. He can put the ball in weird places all the time. He does crazy things, but
let me rephrase.
I cannot call him the greatest of all time.
Before Brady won his sixth, I think it was debatable from a skill, because that was the argument about Brady too, was he was in a system.
Yeah,
but then he won his sixth with New England. Then he went to Tampa and won his seventh with Tampa, who obviously wasn't the same system.
Right.
And so you're right. I argue with myself. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time.
Tom, I can put Aaron in like, I don't know, man. There's so many great quarterbacks.
I think he's top five from a skill point, and really numbers too. I mean, he was
an MVP twice, back-to-back years without even going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that's a team thing, though. And a lot of people forget about the team aspect of football.
Which is why the Tony Romo argument makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Tony Romo as an individual player was great.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have just sucked.
I think Mike McCarthy
Mike Mull.
Mike McCarthy is starting to get a little rhythm going with the play calling. I think he's been dipping into Shanahan's book a little bit, changing things around. And that was one of the things A.J. Brown was bitching about was their play calling because they haven't done any scheme changes, right? They've just been throwing it downfield or...
Was that Philly?
Philly, yeah. I said A.J. Brown, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
I know, but you shifted from Mike McCarthy to A.J. Brown, so I was...
Well, because I'm going to bounce back and forth here because he reverts and says we need to be running plays like the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And that was one of his complaints. And he said that publicly, like, we're not running good plays. I think McCarthy is starting to realize that they have to do shifty things, really run that slant route, you know, and try to get the first downs.
Give CD the ball.
He's the only one that gets the ball. And keep doing that. Ferguson.
Yeah, he's been on a tear. Yeah.
Been doing well. Since they've started implementing the tight end more is when they started really blowing cats out.
Mm-hmm. There's just so few teams that have a decent tight end. I think a lot of teams just don't have the option, so they, it's just kind of an overlooked position. Because from a fantasy standpoint, you have 4 that you can choose from that are locks every week.
I think the system matters a lot with tight ends. Okay, so I went and picked up Likely from the Ravens, knowing that Andrews was out. They used their tight end a lot,
right?
And his first game on the field wasn't anything really, but that last game he balled, and it's all scheme because let's revert to Niners now. You got Kittle. This cat might not have a catch for the first half. He's blocking the whole time, but then when he starts to slip out, and it's so crazy how smart Shanahan is with the shit. Like they set up. Is it Bradbury or Riddick? One of them kept rushing on the outside, but they basically designed a play for him. Like he was aggressive the first whole quarter. Like he just kept coming off the edge, real hard, and eventually they checked him, hit Kittle,
slipped by him,
took it for 20, 25,
right.
And then ever since then they checked back, and boom, that's when they diced him.
Right.
It's like they changed the whole game off one play.
It's crazy that this can still be such an overlooked thing. I think we are in a sports viewership society where the players are obviously the focus, but coaching is so important. Coaching is almost everything. With a bad coach, we see it all the time. With a bad coach, you will do nothing. And Kellen Moore is one of those.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore being in Dallas was holding Dallas back. Josh McDaniel being the head coach of the Raiders was holding the Raiders back. Now, the Raiders don't have the personnel in place, quarterback specifically, to be a dominant force in the foreseeable future. But you see how the team plays under the leadership of Antonio Pierce versus Josh McDaniel. You see how pulling Kellen Moore from Dallas improves Dallas, and you see how detrimental it's been to the Chargers, where he's at now.
True.
And he's not even a head coach.
Just OC.
But at the same time, you have somebody like Shanahan who's a genius who knows how to use his skill players.
Yeah.
Like you said, the first half is Kittle's just blocking. And he's great at it. And he should keep doing it as long as it's working. Because you got McCaffrey who knows how to use it. You got Samuel, Debo, who knows how to use it. But when you start to see how they're reacting to it, and you got a guy like Kittle who can do both, let's switch to him because they're not accounting for him at all. That type of coaching is so important.
Well, I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time.
He's great.
The dude had started so young.
He grew up in football.
His dad literally goes to the games. Like white-haired Mike Shanahan is up there just fucking watching like, all right, well. And I think
couple rings on his fist.
For sure. And I think he has a lot of influence. I'm positive Kyle calls that dude every day. Like, what do you think we can do to switch this up? Blah, blah, blah. And like... It's a knowledge thing. He has so much knowledge of the game changes, and his second half adjustments are crazy good. I don't know. I'm a geek fan. Obviously, I'm a Niner fan, but this particular dynasty that we're building. When we started this, I think 6 or 7 years ago, with the John Lynch and Shanahan hire, and it's just developed. So many people, like, think about head coach wise right now, came from the Niners, offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniels, head coach of the Dolphins, D'Amico Ryans, head coach of the Texans, Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets.
They all came from Shanahan's staff?
All from our Saleh was our DC. Then D'Amico got promoted to DC. Spent 2 years DC Niners. Went to Houston. McDaniels left 2 years ago.
That explains why those two teams have good defenses.
Yeah, but it's like they're literally it's a tree,
Right.
And so I'm really just hoping.
Yeah, his leadership's got to be crazy good.
Well, the locker. That's what I'm saying, man. When they draft Lynch as a GM wants certain headstrong cats in there. He doesn't just pick any bozo that has crazy talent. Like, I don't think we would be crazy not to be able to draft a Caleb Williams, but I think there's certain people that John Lynch is just not going to draft.
He doesn't.
You're not going to go draft somebody with this huge ego. Like, this is a team-oriented sport,
Right.
and this is who we got. Like,
And you mentioned before taking contract restructures to keep the team together. That's the type of culture that you build.
And we've done that a couple times. A couple players have done that, especially defensively. We brought Eric Armstead. He's like, I forgot the award, but he's just one of those great guys that, all around has developed not just his team, but everything around him. He helps the neighborhood. He helps his city. Man of the Year is the award that he's up for.
Walter Payton?
Walter Payton, yeah. And I think it's like his second or third nomination for it.
Yeah.
And so, but they had a spiel, and it was a video that went viral of like all his teammates, telling him how much they loved him and how much it's different. It's a different locker room, and I really think if they're healthy, they're championship bound.
Right.
There's to me no reason they shouldn't go win it, but you never know in the NFL.
Right.
Any game, any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday,
Right. Saturday now.
Yeah, Saturday now. It can happen.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, if not immediately, there's a long-term cultural establishment.
Yes.
That will make the team contenders for at least the next few years.
And the Patriots had that for a long time.
Right.
And I think the Raiders just got that, what they needed. They needed that. If they don't keep AP, I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But I think
that's crazy.
I think they will. I think
we'll lose
what's the owner's name?
Mark Davis.
Mark Davis. I think
That Lloyd Christmas hairdo.
Boy.
The Lloyd Christmas.
He needs to get rid of that shit.
That's not even the Lloyd Christmas. That's the Lloyd Christmas Eve.
But I think if he's smart, he'll keep. You need that. If you don't have a locker room and you got a bunch of egos and talent rolling around, it's just not going to work.
I was watching the game Thursday, and I think it was Herb Street. I love Kirk Herbstreit, by the way. He's one of the
solid.
We talked about announcers before, and I'm of the I never get bothered by announcers, except for Chris Collinsworth, who make you feel like an idiot on Madden, but only on Madden. Like, the announcers never really bother me. But there are a couple announcers that I think are a great listen, and Herb Street's one of those. But anyway, so I think it was him who said, he was talking to the players on the Vegas team, and they were telling him that under McDaniel, they were all just walking on eggshells. Like, the atmosphere was just not fun, and it was just very... I mean, that's the only words that he used, but you take inferences from that and think, it wasn't the right culture.
Yeah. And
since he's been gone, it's just a different team under Pierce. They wanted, Devontae Adams was on record when he was made interim head coach saying, "I will run through a wall for that dude." And that's the type of cultural trickle down atmosphere that makes great teams great. And you're obviously not a great team. Obviously, personnel matters. The scheme matters. You got to have the right players in the right position. You got to use them right. But culture is the first step, because we've seen a lot of really talented teams do nothing.
Every championship team, minus the Rams a couple years ago, I think you have to have just a great locker room. And
Why do you minus the Rams? Just
because
because they were crazy good?
I think they just bought their way kind of into a Super Bowl and got it. You know, I think they did really good. Just let's go get Matt.
Yeah.
Let's bring Odell in here. Let's go. And I think they just made a lot of right chess piece moves right there. But, you know,
It happens a lot of times in baseball, but that's a different episode.
we still got, we got a few months before baseball starts again. Matt Stafford, he's really good. I'm glad he got a bowl. I'm glad he got one.
Absolutely. I was really, really pleased to see him win one.
But I think McDaniels tried to bring that tough sternness, that Bill Belichick bullshit to the Raiders right off the rip. Instead of just building rapport and building your team up, he was like, no, this ain't going to work. This is not going to work. Fuck you. And I don't think it all the players were like, dude, this ain't, no.
Nobody's going to buy into that.
Nobody's going to buy into that. You're treating this like a job and not like we're a team. And Bill Belichick is known for that. So AP being in there with the Raiders is a game changer. I do think y'all are going to go win the next 3 out of the 4, make the playoffs, wild card, potentially play like the Chiefs or something in the playoffs, possibly beat them.
Might end up making a round or two out of it, yeah.
Because the Chiefs are very vulnerable. Crazy, literally crazy that the Buffalo Bills are the 11th seat right now in the AFC.
This might be an example of what we're talking about. You know, a crazy talented team with the wrong system, the wrong scheme, or the wrong coach.
Dude. And Buffalo was, when they got all those players, and Josh Allen's second year or whatever, they were balling. They end up taking L's. But it's going to be super interesting. All these 6, 7, 7 and 6, 8 and 5 teams trading places the next few weeks.
Right.
It's
going to be a shuffle fest for sure.
I hope the Niners hold up to that 1 seed. That first week bye is so big.
So remind me, is it 1 team now that gets the bye? Because it used to be 2, right?
It's just 1. I can't remember if it used to be 2. I thought it was always 1.
Let us know. Because I may be wrong. I'll look it up after this. But I thought it was the top 2. Maybe that's just in fantasy.
And then, well, let's look back at it. We didn't really finish because you got the Philly strength of schedule.
I think the Cowboys have it pretty easy.
No.
I might be mistaken. Did Dallas beat Philly twice?
So the Cowboys play the Bills.
Be a good one.
Christmas Eve play the Dolphins.
Oof, yeah, they got a tough one.
Then Detroit.
Tough.
And then Commanders. So they don't have an easy out.
No.
The Eagles have Seattle, then the Giants, Arizona, and the Giants again.
That's the easy one.
That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
That's the easiest one, the easiest out.
I don't know. Giants have... I don't know. They've made a couple strides. They might make it interesting.
There are 6 teams in the AFC with 7 and 6 records. So at any time, that just can change.
And the 8 and 5s can change. I mean, there's 4 weeks left.
4 weeks. And plenty of time.
So your 6 and 8 Raiders could really make a push here.
Yeah.
The 9 and 8 Raiders making the playoffs is a real thing.
That's a real thing. Because you got, let's look. The Raiders are 12th right now, 6 and 8.
Right behind Buffalo.
Yep. And they play. Who do they have out? They just smashed LA. They got to play. Oh, shit.
Isn't it LA again? Did we play the Chargers twice already? I don't remember. It might be the Chiefs, low key. Which now is the right time to play the Chiefs because they are in shambles.
Yes. So Christmas Day, a nooner, they play the Chiefs. Then the Colts and Denver. So y'all don't have y'all don't have an easy ride out.
How about Denver? Denver's been on one lately.
Won the last
4 or
6.
5? Is it 6 now?
6 out of 7. Won the last 6 out of 7 games.
Yeah. Sean Payton got tired of the hate.
Well, you had to change some things. Russell had to get going.
Give the ball to Cortland Sutton.
Their defense got rolling.
Yeah. No, they've been on a tear. They're kind of a scary team. They might be in the hunt too.
NFC can flip-flop real quick too. You got
Except for your top three. Your top three aren't going anywhere. They're going to win games.
you have Tampa winning the NFC South
at a losing record.
with 6 and 7. Okay.
Everybody in the division has a losing record, obviously.
Yes. Well, then you got a Minnesota in the 6th seat in Green Bay. That's a 7 and 6 and a 6 and 7 team. 8 through 11 are all 6 and 7 teams. Yeah. So you got
crazy to me that Minnesota's
Rams,
still in the hunt.
Seahawks, Falcons, Saints are all 6 and 7.
Really?
Yep. And I would be curious. I'm not going to look it up right now. I'd be curious to see what their schedule's like, but it's
going to be fun.
It's
to
right
watch.
there. It's going to be real interesting to see the next few weeks.
It's been a very weird season. There have been almost. It seems like there have been more injuries to key players this year than any.
There have been.
And quarterback specifically. Do you think that is more because of the way that practice goes now, the way that keeping the player safe obviously is an important thing, but it seems like more focus is on that now to where players aren't playing preseason games. They're not practicing at all, really. And your key superstar players don't practice. Period. Sometimes they go an entire week with no practice, step on the field on Sunday and get hurt. Is there an element to, we're just not as durable as we used to be because we don't put ourselves through actually getting contact and actually going full speed practice?
I think
there's a lot of non-contact injuries that are happening.
That goes to coaching though. I think how hard you go, how many breaks you give, how you set up your team, and what they're doing pre-practice, pre-game. Are you making these dudes stretch? Are you making these dudes warm up? Obviously, everybody has a warm-up scheme, but practice? You got to practice.
Yeah, you got to practice, man.
I know OTAs, like, they were out there being dogs in the Bay. They weren't slouching. They were out there trying to make game. Like, it was like they were in a game playing these cats in practice and OTAs.
That's why they're 10-3.
Yeah.
With very few injuries.
I do agree. Well, I mean, we've had ours. We have some right now.
Right.
Eric Armstead, speaking of, is hurt. And we have a couple guys on defense hurt. We lost Tua Tofunga.
Tolafunga?
Yeah, Tofunga. That's how you say it.
Tuafungus?
Tuafunga. Tolafunga. Tuamanga Kawabunga.
He's a trip.
Hey, but he tore his ACL getting his fucking ankle broke. Oh, God, it was so bad. But anyways, Jair Brown from Penn State came in, and he's been clutch as a safety.
Right.
Depth is, if we didn't have any depth at safety right now, that would be a vulnerable position, and people would be getting our ass. But because we made that draft pick and the system, we're doing well. The Cowboys have made crazy adjustments to me since we beat them to make a big run in the playoffs too. I think this year is the year that they actually win a few playoff games.
Right. As long as, matchups are going to matter, and as long as the wheels just don't completely fall off, I don't see any reason why we don't see a San Francisco-Dallas NFC Championship.
Like you said, though, it's going to depend on how the seeds fall.
Right.
And because
as long as you're 1-2, it'll be that.
Yeah.
But that means that Dallas will have to go through an extra round if it stands the way it is.
Yep.
But it'll. I think that would be the most gratifying NFC playoff result.
Damn near the Super Bowl. I'm not really scared of anybody in the AFC. I know the game.
NFC championship. NFC champion wins the Super Bowl.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Dallas has.
I hate just saying that, but yeah, I do believe the same.
The Niners have been elite for several years now, in my opinion. But I don't think they've been this good in a while. The Cowboys haven't been this good in 20 years, if not longer.
You're right about
Maybe
that.
the 2014 team was close.
Who has a better defense?
The whole Dez caught it season.
Who has a better defense out of the two?
I think Dallas's defense is surprising, But I think San Francisco's defense is better. San Francisco, well, they both have good pass rushes. Yes. They both have good secondaries. I think Dallas's linebackers might have a little bit of a step up. But
I disagree with that. I think we got the best linebacking core in the league.
I think
San
Francisco's pass rush is actually
are disgustingly good.
Could be. I think San Francisco's pass rush is probably better too. But Dallas's is pretty good.
I think they're evenly matched.
You know what's crazy is it still might be a shootout. With those defenses, it still might be a shootout.
I really hope that's the game.
Yeah,
that's the game that decides who goes to the bowl because, oh man, the atmosphere with that game, even in the regular season, it felt week 5 felt like a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, even though they got drugged by
the
Niners.
They did, and I don't know if they just weren't ready or prepared, but yeah, the Niners were, and they fucking digged them down.
Any given Sunday, man.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It could be a totally different team we play, and probably will be a totally different game in a playoff atmosphere.
It could end up being the Rams and the Bears.
Bro. You're not joking, though. The Rams just beat... Who did they just beat?
They pummeled the freaking...
Colts?
Who was it? I can't even remember. It was the... Oh, no, they didn't pummel them. It was an unexpected shootout with Baltimore. They lost. But
the Rams, beat Baltimore. Yeah, that's right. In OT.
Yes.
No,
the Rams lost to Baltimore. Yes.
Lost to OT.
But it wasn't supposed to be close. And we're talking
about the Bears though.
I thought you were asking who did the Rams just beat? The Bears.
No, the Bears just beat the Colts, I think.
Yeah.
And they destroyed them. Mm-hmm. It was like a pretty good 2 touchdown gap.
They're another coin flip. It's like, is Justin Fields gonna be good today or not? Then you never really know for sure. And their success depends entirely on that. If Justin Fields is the flashes of MVP caliber Justin Fields that we see like once every 3 weeks, they're going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. If he's the guy who you almost want to bench, they're going to lose. And the defense can't save them, the running backs can't save them. That team depends entirely on whether Justin Fields is good or not.
Yeah.
MVP conversation, Justin Fields.
Maybe in a couple years if you can find a better team.
No, I mean, I'm saying if your entire team's success depends on how you play today,
I think
you're
they're
an
short.
MVP.
I think they're short on the offensive line and the running game. And I think they can do a little something.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on his arm and him scrambling out of the pocket to DJ Moore.
Running for his life.
Yeah, because they have to add some things. Mm-hmm. Offensive line and a solid running back. Mm-hmm. That's not going to get hurt.
We've seen how teams with a running for his life quarterback have fared in the past.
Yeah.
He is great for fantasy because of it.
Yeah.
But they don't win games.
It's going to be interesting, man.
Here's to the Niners and the Cowboys in an NFC title. Is your cup still? Oh, okay, good.
Finished that a long time ago.
So what do you think, man? Ready to wrap up Epi 1? Mm-hmm. All right, man. We appreciate you joining us for the Brofessors. We have a great time doing this. We hope that you guys have a similarly great time listening.
We'll be back next week.
We will be back time and time again. Let us know in the comments on any types of content that you would like us to cover.
Please.
Everything is on the table for us.
Yeah, we'll go down the list. We got a lot. We got into it weird today with the football for a cool minute, but man, throw some conspiracies at us. Yeah. Throw some weird stuff at us that we can talk about and try to chime in.
Yeah. So just so you know, Tristan is your conspiracy lover. I am your true crime nut.
Yes.
And we can talk about anything. We both love sports. We both like to dabble in current events per se. You're probably more versed in the politics than I am. So any type of current event issue
personally hate politics, but yeah.
But they're important.
They are important.
I don't know anything about them. So give us some topics to talk about. We love to dive in. We want to do our research. We really want to learn with this podcast, along with having fun and talking about some stuff that we're interested in. We would love it if you're interested in what we're talking about, but frankly, we don't care. We want to talk about what we want to talk about and what's interesting to us, but any topic that you want to give us is obviously welcome.
Yes.
Anything to do with True crime, send it my way. I'd love all of it. Anything to do with conspiracies, send it his way. He loves all of it. We both love sports. We both love movies, books, TV shows, all that stuff. Music.
I'm with it.
The Big Crit came out with something we got to talk about next week.
The what?
Big Crit.
Dropped
Dropped a 4-song
I'm
EP.
more right. I love Big Crit, but I'm way more pumped for this Kanye.
Kanye's on his way.
I'm way more pumped for this Kanye right now. I think he's about to just bring something back.
Let's talk about it next week.
Start a revolution.
Let's talk about it the week after it drops, because who knows when it's going to come out at this point.
If we don't see you, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, the Brofessors. We out here.
I mean business whenever I walk in the room. I be eating, it ain't never off no silver spoon. Blowing up now, who said they about to kill the boom? Coming for the clean sweep, I know you feel the broom.